Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. Today I'm going to use this reference photo of Clarence Mill on the Macclesfield Canal in Bollington. I'm going to use it to demonstrate how to simplify what at first glance looks like a complicated subject. I took this photo in March 2022, so it's a sunny day in early spring. If you half close your eyes and squint at the image, you can see the simple shapes that make up the scene. The mill becomes a block of almost white, the towpath and the canal become triangles of leading lines. The shadows and strips of sunlight become a simple pattern of light and dark shapes. And finally, the tangled shrubbery loses detail, apart from the larger trees bathed in patches of bright sunlight. So whether you're using a reference photo like this or painting outdoors, squinting at your subject really does help you to simplify it and makes working on your painting much easier. I've loosely sketched the outline of the subject on this piece of Saunders Waterford 300-gram rough paper, and I've just added a few patches of masking fluid to highlight the areas on the trees where the sunlight's hitting them so that I can retain the whiteness of the paper for later. I'm starting with a watery mix of cobalt blue for the sky and just adding a little bit of water as I come down to the horizon line. I've also mixed up a puddle of Oriolan, which is fairly weak this mix, very watery. Oriolan's basically cobalt yellow, but its manufacturers as Oriolan these days. I'm adding some of the cobalt blue into it, so it mixes quite well and makes a nice range of greens and yellows. So just using that for the foliage, not forgetting the reflection in the water. Just adding more cobalt blue as I go along. Just painting a variety of greens initially for the first wash, not forgetting the cobalt blue for the reflection of a patch of sky in the canal there. Keeping it all very loose, letting it all blend wet in wet on the paper. This is just my first wash, just to establish the location of the foliage and shrubbery on both sides of the canal. I've mixed up some Naples yellow for the first wash on on Clarence Mill. It's very white in the photograph, and this will dry much lighter, but I don't want to leave the paper clear white because there is some colour there. Again, not forgetting the reflection in the canal. For the first wash on the towpath, I'm using a very watery mix of light red. This will dry much lighter and become the basis for the streams of sunlight that are shining through the bushes and trees on the right of the canal. Now that the first swashes are all dry, I'm using a flat brush and a fairly weak mix of burnt sienna for the shady side of the staircase tower of the mill and the side of the smaller block at this end of the mill. Again, remembering to paint the reflections in the canal. And then using the flat of the brush, the flat side of the brush, just indicating some shadows and detail on the face of the mill. Nothing too specific, just to break up the flatness of the look of the mill. Here I've thickened the mix of the Oriolan, and I'm using a detail brush and just dabbing it onto the page, random shapes, just to indicate different patches of light and dark in the foliage, and building up with some greens mixed from the cobalt blue and the Oriolan. Variety of shades of green throughout, and again taking it down into the reflection in the water. Keeping it all loose with this detail brush. It's a really useful brush for this sort of thing. It's got a thick body and a very fine tip, so it holds quite a bit of paint, and you can just indicate foliage very easily with it. Add a little bit more cobalt blue for the darker patches. I'll be going over this with stronger colours a little bit later. Same on the other side of the bank. And I know this looks very blue at this stage, but it will become darker. Here I'm mixing up some alizarin crimson, and then I'm going to add some Prussian blue and some yellow ochre. This creates a really nice grey. I'm just adding the shadows on either side. This is the first wash for the shadows really. I'll be going much darker with it in a while. And as I build up these different patches of light and shade, the foliage starts to take shape, but without too much detail. Just mix up some more of the same mix, just to create this slightly cooler grey for the shadows on the towpath. And as you can see, the further away these shadows are, the closer together they are and thinner they are. And as they come towards us, they get progressively thicker and further apart. This helps with the illusion of depth in the painting, of course. Here I've mixed up a much darker green for the shadows at the base of the foliage on the right hand side of the canal. This is in deep shade because the sunlight's coming from the right. And this side of the canal will be much darker because of that. Again, using that same detail brush, just loosely dropping in various patches of light and shade on the foliage. Here I'm dragging some horizontal lines in the reflection in the water just to indicate a few suggestions of ripples and light and shade. Here I decided to darken the shadow on the staircase tower of the mill. I thought it looked a little bit too light and a little bit too warm. And the same with the shadow at this end of the lower part of the mill building. For the chimney stack, I just used fairly neat burnt sienna. Just making sure that I try and keep the right hand side lighter to reflect the sunlight. And to indicate the windows on the face of the mill, I'm just using the tip of a flat brush just to suggest some windows there, a little bit of shadow. This will dry much lighter. It's very light grey, weak grey. Not forgetting the reflections once again. Again, some horizontal lines just to break it up, just to suggest some ripples in the water. Okay, the painting's all dry now, and I've removed all the masking fluid. And with a mixture of jadeite green and Van Dyke brown, I'm just painting the trunks of the main trees on the shaded side, using the white areas that are left after the masking fluid as a guide. So when I start adding these darkest darks in the foreground, that the painting really starts to come alive. Just using the same mix to delineate the edge of the canal on the opposite side. Just adding these branches at the top of the trees with the same mix, Just keeping it fairly loose, not trying to paint every branch in the photograph. I've not even looked at the photograph for these details. It's just an indication of what's there. The viewer's eyes will bring the painting together once you've put enough in. Trick is not to go too far with them, and always remember to put the reflections in the water as well. Here I'm using some cadmium yellow to highlight the where the sun's catching the brighter side of the trees. This looks quite bright when you put it on, but it will dull down as it dries. And then using a rigger, just putting some more of the branches in, the thinner branches where they're overlapping the background image. As I said before, these darker colours create the contrast between foreground and background and add depth to the painting. Here I'm just using some a fairly strong mix of neutral tint for the narrowboat that's riding along the canal in the distance there, with some cobalt blue for the cabin. And here I'm just using that same dark green brown colour, slightly wetter mix, just to put some streaks in to indicate ripples in the water. These horizontal streaks help to create a feeling of depth in the reflection. A little bit more detail on the top of the mill in the distance, just darkening the chimney on the left hand side. I've mixed up some white gouache to just indicate the reflected light on the windows on the staircase tower of the mill. A few bits on the narrowboat as well. And a few horizontal streaks again to add a little bit of sparkle to the reflection and the ripples in the canal water. Here I'm darkening the hedge on the right hand side, just bringing it a bit forward in the painting. It looked a bit weak, so just darkening some of the areas, just to give it some body really. And having darkened the hedge, I decided that the shadows were a little bit too light and felt a little bit weak. So I decided to darken them with the same mix of grey. This will dry a little bit lighter. It looks dark when you paint it, but it will dry a little bit lighter. You can always go darker in a painting, but it's much harder to go lighter. So if you're worried about whether you've got the tonal value right, you can always darken it later if you're not happy. At this point, I thought I was pretty much finished with the painting, and I just felt there was something not quite right. So I walked away for an hour or so, let it dry, and then I came back and I made a couple of minor alterations. One being the line of the top of the mill in the reflection, and the other being the strip of grass growing on the edge of the capstones at the edge of the canal. Just helped to lead the eye into the painting, and that was it really. So I think it's pretty much finished. I do hope you found this demonstration useful. Do try the trick of half closing your eyes and squinting at your subject to sort of filter out the noise of all the detail and just see the basic shapes. It really helps when you think a subject might be too difficult to paint. If you did find the demonstration helpful, do give it a like. It really helps with YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. And once more, thanks for watching.